Hi. I'm going to describe the movie 3000 Years of Longing plot summary. What is the film about? As a narratologist, Dr. Alethea Benny was searching for the truth that underlies all of humankind's stories. The emotions, sensations, needs, and wants she had incorporated into the fantasy world she had made to cope with life in general become apparent to her as she travels. She claims that her account is just as accurate as any other scientific theory that people cling to, but we won't trust her unless and until she admits that her account is a fairy tale. Alethea felt it more convenient to claim that it was a fairy tale rather than letting people think that she was a delusional person suffering from some mental disease, because she knew she could never provide evidence to support what she believed to be her reality. Her experience resembled a dream in which reality and fantasy are so closely related that it is impossible to tell one from the other. She claims that the world of storytelling provides some sense to our baffling life. Where rationality ended, magic began for Alethea. Alethea is in awe of humankind's amazing scientific advancements and somehow manages to reduce technology's entire purpose to such little, primitive pieces that, rather than serving as evidence of advancement, they serve to highlight the absurdity of life. She claims that her travels on her quest frequently took her to the towns of antiquity in the Levant region, including today's Mediterranean region. When Alethea arrives in Istanbul, Turkey, she is greeted by Gunhan, who was both her host and the conference's organizer. She is forced to stay in the Pera Palace room that served as the setting for Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. At the conference, Gunhan spoke to the audience and explained that we use stories to comprehend the hidden powers of nature. Alethea thinks mythology and science have been at odds with one another since the beginning of time, much like her own existence. She suddenly noticed an appearance of a king sitting among the spectators. She was conscious of her recurring hallucinations. Her vivid imagination suddenly spiraled out of control, and she passed out on stage. Gunhan urged her to see a doctor when she awoke, but she responded that she was fully fine. She visited an antique shop in Istanbul where she discovered a glass container that the proprietor identified as sesame bulbul. He conjectured that the antique came from that time period because comparable patterns were once created by Encercoy glassmakers about 300 years ago. When she brings the antique inside her hotel room, something unusual occurs. It produces a jinn, much like in fairy tales. She closes her eyes in the hope that it will go away because she thinks it is one of her hallucinating images. But it doesn't go like that. The enormous jinn decreases in size in order to fit within the constricted ceilings of a man-made structure, just as Alethea did when she downsized her aspirations of life. He asks the narrator to make 3 wishes, but she refuses to be tricked. He then begins to explain to her how he had been attempting to flee captivity for 3,000 years but had been unsuccessful. Now, everything hinged on Alethea's determination to make those 3 dreams come true.